Well, it has been a tough one for the big skipper, and Mal, for the first time in a long, long time, Great Britain going to this test on Saturday, favourites.
Yes, unfortunately, Durko, they won the first test. Obviously, we didn't play all that well, but we're quietly confident that we can make it 1-1 all.
Well, with you and Ben Elias on the sideline tonight, the captain and vice-captain of the Kangaroos, a new skipper coming in for Australia tonight, Alan Langer. How do you think he'll handle it?
Well, Alfie will go okay. It's a big moment for Alfie leaving the Kangaroos on the field, but it's very important for him to have a big one tonight because his position's in jeopardy with Ricky Stewart and Greg Alexander, Desi Hasler and those guys playing fairly well on tour, so it's going to be a big night for Alfie.
A very important night for Alan Langer as he skippers the Kangaroos for the very first time. Let's take a look at the full Australian lineup. Alexander at fullback, Shearer, Johns, Walters, Hancock, Fittler, Langer. The forwards, Hasler, Cartwright, Geyer, Sargent, Kerrod Walters in at hooker, Gillespie, and the reserves, Eddinghausen, Lyons, Bella and Roach.
And for Halifax, Smith at fullback, Hutchinson, Elia, Austin, George, Wood and Southernwood. And the forwards, Keebles, Scott, Platt, Fairbank, McCallion and Hill. The subs, Ramshaw, Milner, Beavers and Mitchell. And the coach, Peter Rowe.
Kangaroo Tour, and an important one, as we said before, for Alan Langer, who leads the Australians for the very first time. And Langer just calling his forwards amongst him to say to them how important it is a good start. They have often started badly under the lights midweek on the Kangaroo Tour.
And here comes Halifax, led out by second rower Mick Scott. They've made a few late changes to their side. One of the most interesting ones is that the 5'8" was originally chosen in the second row, and that Alan Platt, who is playing in the second row, was originally second at 5'8". So Halifax in second division, but are running second in second division. Mick Scott, the captain, laying down the law to his team. The hooker, Seamus McCallion. So although they're down in second division, they are playing winning football. They are reasonably confident of putting on a good showing here at Thrum Hall this evening.
And Dale Shearer wearing a black armband tonight to all his family, friends back at home. We learned the bad news during the week of the death of his grandfather, Jock. So to Dale and all his family, our sincerest wishes tonight. The referee in charge of Game 9, Mr. Brian Galtress. And the lights shining brightly here from the camera side of Thrum Hall. But I can tell you that on the far side of the ground, it is a little bit dark in some quarters. There will be some difficulty players into the corners at both ends. Alan Platt to kick off for Halifax. He was originally listed at 5'8". The local crowd here have turned out in style to see the green and gold, and also hopefully a big performance for their own side. Alexander kicks immediately, way over the head of Steve Smith. Smith will let it roll nearly to the try line. A complete wall of defenders in front of him. He's going to return the favour down to Alexander. And they're all offside. They were well and truly inside the 10 metres. That is the international rule. Powerful run from Geyer. Now, the referee has stopped play. And Geyer has plenty to say to some of his opponents. Now, it was Mark Elia who tried to make the tackle on Geyer. He's back to his feet now, and it's play on for the Australians. Kerrod Walters. 4 defenders in. They've stolen the ball. A fine break by Halifax. Austin brought down. While Kerrod Walters was getting plenty of attention, a couple of his teammates didn't realise that the ball had been stolen. Now there's a penalty for inside the 5. They've decided to try and grab the early points. And Platt will set this about 35 metres out. He's only about 5 or 6 metres off centre. Real hush over the ground here. Platt doesn't like it. Never struck it well at all. Hancock. Hancock straightens up into the arms of Mick Scott. The dummy from Kevin Walters. He and Kerrod together in Australian colours for the first time in the one match. Cartwright. Good strong effort from Cartwright to get outside the 22. Gillespie. Chased by Platt. He beat Platt. Now he struggles to his feet. Kerrod Walters again. Langer. Step from Langer. Last tackle against the Australians. Penalty must come. Taking a mile of time to get off Langer. Alexander to look for touch. Finds it well. 40 metres out from the Halifax line. Langer. Sargent. Really on the charge. Now, the referee has... Now, we've seen red cards before and the signal of 10 minutes in the bin. I'm going to have to get Tony Durkin to try and confirm this one with Sargent, whether in fact he's been sent from the field or whether he's in the bin. He did lash out with his boot. Can't argue with the referee. So we'll have confirmation of whether it is straight to the sin bin. I can't really argue on the replay. He nearly busted the line, Sargent, but he did lash out. The referee had no hesitation in taking strong action. Now, Brian Galtres is calling out Alan Langer. I don't know what he's trying to explain to the Australian captain. Now, maybe Langer's trying to get confirmation of the sin bin.
Well, I know what he said the last word was, or last two words, no more.
Halifax now finally settled to take the penalty. And Alan Platt, who is bleeding, is leaving the field. So, Tony, what was the upshot of all that from the referee?
Well, it was a yellow card, Graham, so 10 minutes in the sin bin for Mark Sargent. Alan Platt coming to the sideline now. Obviously, that wound will need to be stitched. A fairly ugly cut. 10 minutes for Mark Sargent.
So now it's Halifax, who come back to just short of their own side of halfway.
And Halifax bring it back towards the halfway, and the first time we've seen the defence of the Australians in action, and Guy really gave it to Fairbank. And now the replacement, Mitchell, had a bit of a look as he knocked that ball on, and the Aussies came really steaming through. Cartwright really came through hard on Mitchell, who knocked the ball on. Now Guy wants to go on with it, but the referee will put the scrum down for the original knock on. And there it was, with Mark Guy wanting to go on there with Mick Scott. I can't work out that. Didn't Halifax put the ball in the scrum, and yet Mitchell it was who knocked the ball on. I hope it's not going to be one of those nights. Here's Halifax moving the ball up the blind side through the big man Hill, who couldn't get his pass away to Wilf George. Open side, Halifax bring it. Wood, the long pass. Now it comes away to Elia. Elia's gone straight through. He's still going, Mark Elia. Good run. He'll play it midway half and quarter line inside Australia's territory. And Greg Austin kicks for touch. It comes off an Australian player, and so the scrum will go down, and it will be Halifax's feed. Here it is again. He just ducks out from dummy half, and the former Manly player finding it on the quarter line. And a bit of blood coming out of Greg Austin's nose there. We'll stay with the football just for a second, with Wood tackled only 20 metres away from the Australian line. Southern Wood. Away it comes to Mitchell. Mitchell just 18 metres out. McCallion finds a runner in Fairbank. Up there quickly to effect the tackle was Kerrod Walters. So too was Hasler. Scott came one way. Then down the centre came Hill. And up there quickly was Hasler, and then Hill comes in and wants to go on with it with Hasler. The referee very quickly involved, telling Hill to just get out of it, was one of his teammates. The referee is speaking to Hasler. The only thing I could think of was that he thought it was a high tackle, and that's exactly what the referee is going to penalise Hasler for. And now we'll see a kick at goal from right in front. Steve Smith, the fullback, will probably take the shot at goal. Of course, Platt is the normal Halifax goal kicker. And so now Halifax get the opportunity to put first points on the board. Actually, Tony Durkin, there's an interesting story surrounding Tony Mitchell.
Well, Tony Mitchell, the replacement in the Halifax side, has been over here. He's an Australian. He's been over here for only 5 weeks. He's had 2 games with Nottingham. He's had a game with Dewsbury last week. And in fact, last season, coached Chinchilla out in the Darling Downs area. And before that, he was with Taroom in Western Queensland. He certainly is a happy wanderer as far as rugby league players are concerned. His big opportunity tonight.
So here's Smith, moves in, strikes it sweetly. And would you believe it? Here at Thrum Hall, first points of the evening have gone to Halifax. And Halifax lead Australia by 2 points to 0. Play. Back to the point scorer, Smith, and he knocks it on, and Australia will go right on the attack, only 5 metres out. So here's a great opportunity for Australia to retaliate after the early points being put on the board against them. Now, where's the football? Finally, it came out. It came off Langer's foot, then went forward. I think the referee's... I think in the end he's let Langer have it. As Geyer goes from dummy half, and the big man might almost get there on his own. Kerrod Walters indicates that he wants Gillespie to take the ball, and Gillespie's pulled down only a couple of metres away from the Halifax line. Open side. Langer, still going. Little Alf captaining Australia for the first time, and he almost popped over. Australia going the open side. Alexander, but well taken by some very good from Halifax defence. It was Scott who was up there. Walters. Alan Langer puts the little grubber kick through, and George had to have 2 bites at the cherry to put the ball dead, and play will restart with the line dropout. He almost miskicked it with his first attempt. Here it is again. Now Langer gets the ball into the in-goal area. Now Wilf George tries to kick it. He did just manage to get a foot onto it, but then he had to have another go at it to make sure that Johns didn't score a try.
Langer will get his Australians fired up now with another chance in possession. Hasler is way back on halfway. There's Hasler. A little bit of crossfield was easy pickings for Hill. Kerrod Walters for Cartwright. A man that needs to have somebody in support. There was nobody trailing him. He's a man that has to have runners inside and out. Gillespie strongly. Back for Kerrod Walters. Way over the top for Fittler to step. Showed a lot of strength to brush off some defenders before Hill came over the top. Geyer looking to pop up a short ball back for Kerrod Walters. Cartwright. He slips. Put to ground finally by Fairbank. Hasler, Fittler, into the back line, over the top of George. Shearer to the corner, taken high by Austin. He climbed high on Shearer. The bomb put up right across field for Hill to spill it. Geyer through the dummy, scores. So a mistake from Halifax brings the first try, but it was a good kick across field and plenty of chasing from the Australians, and Mark Geyer was on the spot. Waiting underneath it was Brendan Hill on the Just Jeans replay, out of his arms, straight into those arms waiting of Geyer, and he just had to stretch out in the tackle. Right across field, perfectly placed, just in front of the goal mouth. Cartwright was on the chase. It fell easily for Geyer. He had men outside, but he didn't need them at all. All he had to do was take the tackle. So the right start now for the Australians who grabbed the first try.
And the big fella's only played 3 games, Graham. He scored a try in each of them.
He certainly has played well on tour. Alexander from right next to the post. Right down the middle. After being behind, the Australians race back at 6-2. Halifax restart play. And at last the Australians get a chance to settle. Mallet was really starting to look a little bit dangerous early, as if this match was really going to flare right up into something bad. Well, we'll come back to Mal Meninga. Gillespie. Gillespie tanking inside his own 22. Cartwright pulled down 12 out. Sorry, Mal, of course I was going to say that it looked as if it was going to really blow up in this first 10 minutes.
I think, yeah, once again, Graham, the referee was going to be a central figure in this game again, but the guys are settled down. They're going a bit one out at the moment, but I'm quite sure that they'll keep the ball security up, kick out, we'll be okay.
Alexander hassled for a moment, but creates some room. Down to Steve Smith. Smith taken by Langer and also Des Hasler.
So Halifax just on their own side of halfway. This is Hutchison, and Hutchison was claimed quickly, but the referee has found Australia inside the 5 again. And the penalty goes to Halifax just inside Australia's territory, and Smith it is who'll take the kick as Sargent comes back onto the field after his stint in the sin bin.
Now he's going to be told to report to the touch judge.
Oh yes, you're not allowed to come straight back on. Got to report to these little men all the time. And he still can't get on the field, Sargent. As George goes for a run, now the touch judge says he can go on. Must be confusing. It's confusing enough for us. How about the players? Mitchell goes ahead, and he's only 12 metres out from Australia's line. Thrum Hall. Halifax, as it comes out again now, wide to Keeble, and he's tackled only about 14 metres away. Halifax really moving the ball through. Hill, he comes straight and hard. A good run from the big man, and he's got the ball within about 5 metres of Australia's line. Keeble again it is with the football. On the run around, McCallion, quick hands. It's gone out from Austin to Elia. Elia back on the inside. That looked forward. Picking the ball up now, Southernwood. Quickly it's gone out now towards the centre three-quarter. Austin and Hill score. A try for Halifax. Good ball support, good movement.
That was a fine ball from McCallion, but the pass to Elia was the one that was very, very doubtful.
Way back in this movement, when the ball came this side the first time, on the Just Jeans replay, we'll see this. There's the one originally. That was forward. That was it. That pass then from Austin to Elia. Elia came back on the inside, but there's still plenty of opportunities for Australia to finish the movement. Elia lost it, and then here it is, Austin, after McCallion really did drag in the defence with a good dummy, held the ball up to put Austin in, and that'll be really sweet for Greg Austin. Good try, and this is it again. This is just at the end of the Elia run. The ball's loose. It's Southernwood, and McCallion, the little dummy, he sucked in Mark Geyer, and Austin comes round to finish it off. So Smith again with the chance to put Halifax in front. 20 metres out, 15 metres in. The kick from Smith comes around, but it's not around enough. And so here at Thrum Hall, scores a level, Australia 6, Halifax 6. As Australia bring the ball back to the halfway, Smith probably remembering the last time that they kicked off, he knocked on and really gave Australia the great opportunity to go on the attack, which they did and eventually scored. Alexander restarts play. And now Halifax bring it back. The winger Hutchison it is who's claimed just 12 metres out from his own line. Mitchell, handled well there by Gillespie and Geyer. I bet he didn't think when he was playing in Chinchilla during this year that he'd be playing against the Australians at Thrum Hall tonight. Just outside the Halifax quarter line, McCallion. Johns and Langer the tacklers. Mitchell again. Well, he certainly got himself involved since he came onto the field to replace Alan Platt. Last tackle against Halifax. Smith did well to evade Kerrod Walters to get his kick in. Alexander goes back to within 12 metres of his own line. Now, can he link up with Hancock? He can't. In fact, he's almost got through those three defenders who'd got down there. Great work from Alexander. Some of the Australian forwards taking their time to come back onside. Shearer almost to the quarter line. Kevin Walters, Langer back on the inside. Plenty of blue and white jumpers.
David, it's interesting when Australia have the ball, that 5 metres is all of a sudden shrunk to about 2 or 3.
The penalties, which is rather rare on this tour, favouring Australia, 4-1. Kerrod Walters out from dummy half, looks on the inside. Here's Geyer. Geyer's got support in Hasler. Hasler inside Halifax's territory, 40 metres away. Good stuff that from the Australians. They need more of that. They've got to support the ball carrier. Langer to Fittler. Floats it away now. Kevin Walters gets it away to Hancock. Hancock runs across field. Now straightens up. Hancock's got support. He goes away from the sport. Last tackle against Australia. Kerrod Walters in a dummy half. And this is a penalty to Australia against Smith for not allowing Hancock to get up and play the football. So here it is
with the quick tap. Now, that was just a replay of the incident that has led to the penalty to the Australians. 6 more tackles has now been ruled in the play of the ball. Sargent's back on the field. There was a big hole down the middle. He was too strong and powerful. Nobody wanted to have anything to do with him. Look at the determination on him after scoring this try. Back to business for Sargent. Just Gene's replay. He sighted this gap. Just the one defender there. Not enough to stop Sargent. He's been in great form. He makes a try, number 3 on the tour. Right into full stride and right under the black dot. He spent 10 minutes in the sin bin. Now he's warmed up when he gets back. Right into the action from the start. Alexander from right in front. Alexander. They're doing the right thing in scoring close to the post. He didn't hit that well. The touch judges looked at each other and it's converted. It's 12-6 Australia.
Money is the sign of success. To others, there are finer things in life, like Chivas Regal. From the oldest distillery in the Scottish Highlands, aged a full 12 years. For those who enjoy the finer things in life, there is only one Scotch whisky, the Chivas Regal of Scotches.
The Just Gene's 1990 Kangaroo Tour is proudly brought to you by Nissan, Goodyear and Ansett Australia.
So Halifax testing the Australians. Geyer. Geyer plays this just outside the 22. Kerrod Walters tries to steal a little bit of distance down the sideline. But that try from the Australians, Sargent has really helped. And Mal Meninga, he has been in great form, hasn't he, Big Sarge?
Yeah, Mark Sargent's a great player, certainly a player in form. We're a pretty lucky situation with the Roos at the moment. We've got 4 props playing extremely well, so Mark Sargent's certainly pressing his claims for a test spot.
Gillespie. Much better running, getting outside. One pass off the ruck. Trying to test the defence a little bit out wider. Langer. Tried to pop it up on the inside. All he did was hand it over to Halifax. Scott. Peebles. Scott again. Running. With support from Wood. Long ball needed to try and find Fairbank. Look a little bit upset by that try from Sargent. Hill. Sargent tried to charge in on him. He gets plenty of assistance. Last tackle. Trying a midfield bomb on Alexander. Way offside was Scott. He wasn't penalised. Should have been. Langer quickly to dummy half to find Shearer. Kevin Walters for Fittler. Back for Shearer. The Australians are very, very bunched. They really are grouped together. Geyer. They haven't got anywhere from where they were on the 22. Now they will because of a penalty. Alexander will relieve the situation. The referee had called Guy to play it. And then the ball was stolen. Now this kick from Alexander is a magnificent one. Takes play right down to the other 22.
Would you believe it? Laurie Nichols is here in a singlet again.
Nothing different for Laurie. Sargent, the try scorer, appeals to the referee to be allowed to play it. Kerrod Walters for brother Kevin. He dummied once, trying to duck and weave his way through. Langer. Gillespie. Gillespie will play it about 15 out. Cartwright. Hasler's there. Hasler ducked behind Gillespie. There could have been a Shepherd. The crowd applauding the defence of Hill. Geyer. Last tackle against the Kangaroos. Langer open side. Alexander's gone blindside. Alexander's the man to get it. Looking to pass the ball round the back for Kevin Walters. Halifax come up with it about 10 out from their own line.
So Elia runs the ball out to the quarter line. He'll get up and play it. 25 minutes gone in the match. Knock on, says the referee, and now Australia will get another opportunity to go right on the attack. McCallion's pass it was. Now a scrum win against the feed. And Wood, who knocked the ball on only a moment ago, knocks it on again. Well, two mistakes in the space of 60 seconds, and that will make up for Australia losing that ball against the feed. Langer very keen to put the ball in quickly. Now puts it in. Fittler's come up with it. Fittler goes the open side. Fittler back through on the inside. He's got supported. Alexander shut the gate. He's in under the posts. Good stuff from Fittler. And the two youngsters from Penrith combine to put Australia in again. Well, that came from nothing. Here's Fittler. He gets away from the first line in the Just Jeans replay. There's the step back on the inside. He got away from Keebles and he opened up the space, and that was the end of it. Alexander into the gap. No one in the world would have stopped Alexander from scoring there. Try time. I think he might have let a few of those Halifax supporters know it too when he got down to the fence. Here he is again, the young 18-year-old, runs across field, easily back on the inside of Keeble. There's the hole. Alexander calls for it. That's the end of the section. He really is a thoroughbred. Alexander gets down there to score the try and now has the opportunity to add the extras. Right in front. Alexander strikes it well. 2 more points to Greg Alexander as he converts his own try. And now Australia have dashed away to lead Halifax by 18 points to 6.
Top scrum feed from the halfback. Oh, right under the hooker's tongue. Oh, and he's raked that straight back. How fast can a man eat an apple pie?
Halifax restart play through Smith. It's Geyer who's getting under it. Mark Guy just runs straight over the top of the Halifax defence, but equal to the task was the little halfback Southernwood. Cartwright takes it up. Crashed into the ground over the top by Mitchell. Underneath was Hill. Sargent. John straight through. Sargent's up to the halfway. He looks on the inside. He's gone straight over the top of Smith, and he keeps the movement going and gets almost down to the quarter line. Great run from Sargent. Isn't he having a wow of a game now? Langer. He's got support on the outside here. Fittler, it comes to Hasler. Wood takes the tackle just outside the quarter line. Kerrod Walters. Langer puts the kick in. Coming through very quickly is Dale Shearer and also Johns, but the ball beats them all over the dead ball line. And play will restart from the centre of the quarter line. Well, Shearer was coming through quickly. Langer's kick in behind the defence. And I didn't think that George had a chance of beating either Johns or Shearer to it. They would have won the race easily, the two Australians, but the ball in the end just going a little bit too deep. Halifax trying to work something out on the blind side through Wood. McCallion got the pass away to Hill. Hill's still going. Good run. Slips the pass away, and Langer is the one who finishes up coming up with possession as Australia run it back towards the halfway. Alexander looks on the inside. He finds support in Kevin Walters, and only just desperate defence from the captain in Scott finishes that movement 11 metres inside Halifax's territory. Great return by the Australians. Hancock, Geyer. Geyer puts the kick over the top. There wasn't anyone home originally. Smith will get back there, and Smith has done well to take it despite being harassed almost without the ball by Hancock. Halifax through Austin. George taken in good defence on the far side by Johns, just outside the quarter line. Not too many second rowers will be going to chip and chase, like we saw Guy just a moment ago. Probably just displaying the confidence that must be in this Australian team now. Leading comfortably, 18 points to 6. Scott, the Halifax captain, back on the quarter line. Halifax really with nowhere to go at the moment. Still 10 minutes remain here in the first half. Smith, plenty of time to get his kick in, and Alexander just inside Australia's territory to bring it back.
Alexander finds some room for Hancock. He puts down an easy one. Well, he said play on. This is going to be an Australian try. I must say I can't believe it, but he's going to allow it. I don't know what the referee has ruled here, but who cares, I guess. It's a green and gold try. The crowd continue to boo the referee. Kevin Walters scratches his head.
Well, the referee's telling the crowd that after Hancock had knocked the ball on, that Halifax had plenty of time to Elia actually touch the ball. They had the advantage because they had the possession, and that was it.
Should never have been a try. No way in the world. But the Australians aren't going to argue, as on the Just Genes replay, they pick up a 4-pointer right under the black dot again. The simple ball has been put down by Hancock. But Kevin Walters is amongst the try-scoring list. Alexander again from right in front. Has not had a difficult kick. Once more the crowd sets up against the referee, but the scoreline's 24-6. Try.
Well, it was, Graham, and in fact there was an incident after that try which has caused a fair bit of concern. You may have seen the referee run over to the far corner of the ground, and it would appear as though Kevin Walters has been struck in the back of the head by an obstacle thrown from the crowd. And the referee went over to the crowd and has protested. I'll try and find out exactly what was thrown and how bad Kevin Walters is actually, if he has been hurt, but certainly needed some attention.
So quite a few sensations here at Thrum Hall. Gillespie, taken by Mitchell. He seems to be okay now, Kevin Walters. Geyer. Geyer will play at 30 metres out. Alexander to the outside of Wood to get his kick in. And a fine kick too. Just the right bounce on it, and he's turned this team around well and truly inside the Halifax 22. Great kick from Alexander. He shortened up his own angle, taking a few steps. No one at home, neither Smith or George. Comes away loose from the scrum. Southernwood wins the race to it. George from dummy half. Langer had him very quickly. Crowd looking for the penalty. It doesn't come. Fairbank. Switch of play. Scott. Hill was wrapped up by Johns. Back they go for the kick. Dangerous going to an open side with Alexander. Hancock went the other way inside. Alexander was trying to stay outside. Well, Alexander never lost it. It was stolen by Austin. He could have been penalised. Langer. Langer 40 metres out and right in centre field. Kerrod Walters up the middle. Kerrod Walters looks for support. Knocked down by Scott and knocked back. He just got in between Hasler and Kerrod Walters. So Halifax now to bring it away.
And it's Hill who brings it away, and he's really manhandled by Geyer and Sargent, but still got his pass away. McCallion it was who got the pass away to the little halfback Southernwood. He's taken midway half and quarter line his own end of the field. Wood tries the little chip and chase. Langer's there, and here's Alexander to bring it back. Alexander runs to Hancock's wing. He comes back on the inside, Hancock. The crossfield taken by Austin, and in the end there's 4 Halifax players in there, including the left winger. So they're pretty short on that side of the field. Halifax. Langer, quick hands, and there's a try on here as it comes away now towards Johns. Away it goes to Shearer. Now can Shearer win the race for the line? Shearer looks on the inside. It's Johns, and Johns will come away and score. Well, it looked ominous. They were all bunched, Halifax. They only had to back up the ball carrier, and they must score, and Australia has. Chris Johns has scored the try. Good football. Johns it was initially, who drew Austin in. Austin looked on the outside on the Just Jeans replay, and then all of a sudden realised the winger wasn't there, as Shearer managed to put Johns away in the end for the try. And there he is, Wilf George. He was back in amongst the forwards. Shearer quickly getting away from Austin, who is very fast indeed. So it just shows you how quick Dale Shearer still is, and he did well as he drew Smith to put Johns away for yet another Australian try. So Chris Johns enjoying that opportunity to play in the centres. He hasn't seen much of the football tonight. Most of the plays come down the left side of the field. And Alexander being presented probably with his most difficult kick so far this evening. And it's still not a hard one. A great chance to make it 5 out of 5 just before half-time and send Australia away to a very big lead. There's the kick from Alexander, but it's an absolute shocker. He wouldn't be happy with that. And Australia, right on half-time, leading Halifax by 28 points to 6. The Australian supporters will be fairly happy with this performance. And of course, they'll all move on to Old Trafford on Saturday for that all-important second test match. And Bob Fulton, he has a lot on his mind as he gets this team ready for the test match on Saturday. Live, of course, on Channel 10 from Old Trafford. 1 o'clock in the morning for the coverage. Eastern Daylight Time. Smith returns the kick. Now Hill is down there, and Alexander returns the kick. Across to Hutchison. Now Hutchison thought about the kick, runs straight at Cartwright and Gillespie, and he has to play it a few metres his own side of halfway. Smith got his pass away to Keebles, but it doesn't make any difference. The referee spotted the Australians up inside the 5. Not long to go until half-time. Australia leading 28 points to 6. And Smith is going to kick for touch on the far side of the field. An incredible slope on this ground. You can't really see it on television, but from the top of the screen to the bottom of the screen, there's probably a drop in this ground of quite a considerable amount. It looks quite odd standing on the far side of the field as it really does slope away. George, tackle just outside the Australian quarter line. Fairbank comes ahead. Low was Gillespie. Sargent over the top. Again, it's the open side. Hill on his own. Gets the pass away to Scott that looked marginally forward, and he's got within 9 metres of Australia's line. Halifax desperate to post points right on the stroke of half-time as Hill comes forward again. And the big prop is only a couple of metres away. McCallion. And he tries to force his way over with the help of Hill. Thought he was playing rugby union for just a second. Woods in a dummy half. Open side. And Southernwood puts the little grubber kick in. And in behind the defence, the ball goes over the dead ball line. I'm not quite sure who actually tapped it dead in the end. Let's have a look at this. The ball looked as if it was going to hit the uprights for a moment. Across there was Hasler and also Kerrod Walters.
I just wonder if Desi Hasler could have been penalised for interfering, maybe even a thought of a penalty try. That's what Halifax were claiming for.
Well, that's what Keeble was obviously claiming. As Alexander restarts play. And Wood back on the halfway line. Brings it back to within 12 metres of the Australian quarter line. Scott. Mitchell gets away from Hasler. That's a poor pass. Plenty of pressure on Halifax here. And they did fairly well in the end to clean it up. Smith, it was the fullback. Scott goes from dummy half. Wood. 6 or 7 metres Australia's side of halfway. A little bit of indecision, though. Hill comes down that blind side again. And Desi Hasler, it was who was the defender. McCallion. Mitchell taken in good defence there by David Gillespie. And McCallion puts the little kick in for George, but Shearer it is who gets there first. Shearer on the stroke of half-time, trying to make some ground down that right flank. Open side, Langer. Here's Sargent, taken well there by Mitchell and also Fairbank. And loses the football. Penalty. It's against Fairbank for reaping it out of his hands. And Mark Sargent says thank you. Alexander kicking for this side of the field, even though he was way over on the other side because of the way this ground slopes. The siren goes. Quickly they hake the restart. Kevin Walters decided to go on his own. He gets the pass away now towards Hancock, and Hancock will score. What a super pass that was from Kevin Walters. And the referee says fair try. Well, Kevin Walters took the odds to it. He heard the hooter go. He took the little tap kick and took off on his own. He caught some of the Halifax players on the Just Jeans replay napping, and then this super little pass which he got away into the space was Hancock, and that was the end of the section as he raced away to score Australia's 6th try in this first half. Here it is again, raced into the gap. He dragged in the defence. The winger Hutchison had to come in off the wing, and Hancock did the rest after that beautiful pass. I think Scott thought maybe it was forward. The referee, though, was not only just in good position, but he also looked at the touch judge who said it was okay, and Hancock scores the try. Alexander, his 6th shot at goal. A chance to add another 2 points. There's the kick from Alexander, but not on target. And so Australia go in at half-time with a very comfortable lead. They've scored 6 tries in this first half, and they lead Halifax by 32 points to 6. And we'll be back with all the second half action in just a moment.
And Ansett Australia are proud to be associated with Channel 10's 1990 coverage of rugby league.
Welcome back to Strum Hall here in Halifax. On a cool night, plenty of Australian support here at the ground. And we want to thank all our New South Wales viewers back at home for their great support of our Brewers Footy Bash competition. And congratulations to our 2 winners coming up for the second test, Andrew Talano of Greenacre and a Mrs. Shin in Liverpool. Our Brewers Footy Bash second test winners. You'll enjoy plenty of food coming your way, courtesy of Kentucky Fried Chicken, and of course that great chance to win a trip for two to New Zealand, courtesy of Guthrie Pacific and Air New Zealand. Have a great night with us right here on Channel 10, our exclusive coverage starting back home from Old Trafford in Manchester, 1 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The Australians back on field. Sargent, who was so impressive in the first half, a powerful try of his, and Alexander getting into the open on plenty of occasions. Alexander just waits to reset with the ball. A big lead of the Kangaroos, 32.6. Alexander. Down for Smith. Hasler there to cut him off right from the start. Tony Durkin, you travelled to the Halifax room at half-time. What was the report?
Well, I had a yarn to the Halifax coach, Peter Rowe, who was absolutely ranting at half-time. He stressed to his players the pride that they must put in their jersey. Basically, they're not doing too much right. He said their defence has been very sloppy. They said the score's now 0-0, and if they can outscore Australia in the second half, as far as they're concerned, they've won the game. And Peter Rowe did tell me that he had a yarn to the referee as he left the field and just asked the referee, said very respectfully, if he wouldn't mind putting his brain into gear in the second half. Mal, you're in the Australian dressing room. What did Bob Fulton have to say?
Well, Bose is pretty happy the way things are going. The ball security is excellent. He had about 6 missed tackles, so let's keep going on that vein. He's a bit worried about the halfback unloading, but he's very happy the way things are going.
John sights the gap. He's going to have support. Moving up as Hancock. Just overran him. Couldn't get it inside. So they've nearly scored right from the outset of this second half. Langer. Langer stepping. Still going, the Australian captain. Put down by Smith 5 metres out. Geyer up the middle. Pops it up, went forward. Now back to Geyer. Back to Kevin Walters. And he has ruled an offside in the play. So the ball just popped up. I wasn't sure whether Langer got a hand to it. I thought it came off Halifax. I would have agreed with the ball going forward and maybe a scrum going down. But Halifax get the penalty. Still trying to quite work out about how a referee or a coach gets away with talking to a referee about putting your brain into gear. Just the odd $10,000 fine back home. Mitchell. They go wide, Halifax. Scott looking for Fairbank. Down goes the ball. Straight to Alexander, although it breaks away from him. Now he picks it up confidently on the run. He straightens. Beats 2 men. Taken by the third. Well, it's a 1 metre rule here at the moment in that play of the ball. Defence was right on top of the Australians, but Fittler still manages to get started. Does he ever? Langer cuts out Sargent for Cartwright. He had men on his outside. Walters, Sargent. 38 metres out as Peter Rowe screams at his Halifax side. Kerrod Walters. Kerrod Walters travelling out wide for Hancock. Juggles. And now is taken about 12 metres out from the line. The Australians, nearly every time they touch now, looking to open right up. Hancock. Hancock keeps it back for Kerrod Walters. Fittler, they've got numbers out wide. A long ball out. Alexander now inside for Kevin Walters. Hasler wasn't looking. He thought Kevin Walters was going to use Cartwright. George. George just outside the 22. Those scrums favouring Halifax 4-2. And the penalties also to Halifax 6-4. Fittler. stepping back into the arms of Southernwood. He was taken low by Keebles. Sargent. Sargent looking for support, still running with two defenders hanging on. Langer. Geyer on the inside. Langer. Johns had gone infield. Cartwright trying to slip it, it was forward. No mistake about it. Referee right on the spot. Scrum will go down with a Halifax feed. And they'll work it out about 12 out from their own line.
So here's Halifax through Wood. 7 metres out. So it's been all Australia so far in the second half. No points on there yet, but it's almost waiting for the dike to crack. Sooner or later, Australia are just going to go straight through them. Halifax with the ball at the moment, but they just can't get out of their own quarter line area. Smith, the kick over the halfway. Getting back, Alexander. He's got Hancock with him. Alexander over the halfway. Good return of the football. Hancock a dummy half. Langer. The long pass out to Geyer. Geyer decides to go on his own. Plenty of blue and white Guernseys in front of him. He can't play the football. Well, the crowd didn't like it, but he never ever was going to kick the fellow. Shearer. Now Shearer tries to take on George, and he can't get through the big fellow's tackle. He will get up and play it 10 metres inside Halifax's territory. Walters. Langer. Sargent. Back on the inside, Fittler, but they're awake to him that time. McCallion was there, as too was Mitchell. Walters. Langer. Alexander, the little chip through. Getting through quickly was Johns, but Hutchison just gets there in front of Johns to claim it for Halifax. And now the penalty against Cartwright for going on with the tackle. So this will probably be the first time that Halifax will have the football inside Australia's territory in the second half. As they find touch just outside the quarter line. McCallion. Hill. Straight and hard. The big prop only knows one way to go. I couldn't imagine him having a step being that size. The long pass comes out towards Fairbank. They seem to knock that on, and that's what the referee's going to rule. The scrum will go down midway half and quarter line inside Australia's territory. So that was the second tackle. Halifax mistake. Well, Halifax didn't even pack the scrum. Referee wants it down again. Won by Australia. Alexander very quickly into the line. Alexander running brilliantly. Here's Hancock. Great run from Alexander. Hancock wanting to get up and play it quickly. Not allowed to do so as Geyer takes it 10 metres inside Halifax's territory. Kerrod Walters. Langer. Here comes Sargent again. Good defence from Halifax this time. And there's the 4 replacements, the 2 props, Clippy Lyons and Andrew Eddinghausen. As Cartwright comes straight down the centre, stands in the tackle, still standing, Cartwright. Langer was knocked over by Hill without the football, and he was standing there waiting to take the pass from Cartwright. He was just knocked rotten on the quarter line. Langer. Fittler. Almost intercepted that by Elia. It's still loose on the ground. Johns gets back to fall on it, but the referee's going to put the scrum down. Well, that rather adventurous pass, Mark Elia almost got it out of the air. Wasn't far away. And still no score in the second half. Australia leading by 32 points to 6. Halifax win the scrum. Elia. Good tackle. Really good tackle, that. Johns. Unusual play of the football, but he got away with it. Wood. Still inside Halifax's territory. Smith. Southernwood. Fairbank takes it this time, and the big prop running freely out amongst the three-quarters, almost down to the halfway. Open side comes Halifax. Southernwood. The long pass. Wood. That was a forward pass to Elia. Elia can't get his pass away to Austin. Fittler did well to get between Elia and Austin. Wood thought about the kick. Runs on his own, taken by Hasler and Langer. Last tackle against Halifax. McCallion looking for someone to kick the football. Southernwood it is who gets his kick in. Alexander takes it well. Over the quarter line comes Alexander. There's a huge hole up there. Alexander, though, brings it back within 10 metres of the halfway. Australia 32, Halifax 6. Kerrod Walters. We're going to see a lot of running from Alexander. I said that in the first half. It's the game that he really will enjoy. Gillespie. Hasler. Chased well across field by Scott. Langer. Geyer down the centre. And he's not allowed to play the football, so a penalty goes to Australia. Geyer and Hill. I think Geyer wanted to go on with it. But the Australians showing a lot more discipline today. And there's Fairbank and there's Hill in there trying to reef that ball away. And he just wasn't allowed to play it. The referee had obviously called held. And there's the penalty going to Australia.
So there's replacements coming on for Halifax, Tony.
Yes, the replacement in jersey number 15 is Richard Milner. He's on for Mick Scott.
Milner out there in 15 as Sargent hits it up for the Australians. Gillespie. Gillespie nearly as far as the 22. They've started to stack a blindside. This is the reason why Geyer, with this switch now back up the middle. Long time in getting up to play it. Tries to get himself out amongst all that tangle. Cartwright. Hasler was trailing. Kerrod Walters. Gillespie stepping back for Kerrod Walters. Walters was looking for somebody on his outside. Last tackle. Langer. Langer way out wide. This will be an excellent try. Shearer, he's going to rule him offside. Well, I must admit that it even looked as if Shearer was hanging well back. He looks daggers at the referee. Let's see if we can pick it up on the angle. Langer looking for Shearer. Well, referees called him offside. I'll leave it at that. This team being a second division side.
Yeah, well, they control the ball reasonably well. You know, I just get the feeling if the forwards just cut the ball up a few rucks and they're swinging out wide, the gaps are definitely out wide. If they can do that, well, I think the game will just open up.
Well, now it's Halifax who are trying, with the thoughts of their coach in the second half, to open things up. They come away with it through the scrum here. And this is Hutchinson, who'll finish up 40 metres out.
So Halifax to play the football. Penalty against Fittler for not allowing Hutchison to play the football. And now some indecision because Scott, who was the captain of the side, is off the field. And now it seems as if the big fellow Hill's taken over the captaincy. Brendan Hill. Smith to kick for touch. And finds it almost on the Australian quarter line. And again, two footballs on the field as Mitchell comes down the centre. 12 metres away. Here's Halifax. They move it across the field now. The ball to be played only 10 metres away from the Australian line. Southernwood trying to duck in behind the Australian defence. Taken by Geyer. 8 metres away. The crowd sensing that perhaps there's a try on. Wood only 5 metres away. Now what can Halifax do here? The Australian defence being stretched for the time being as Southernwood puts the kick in and it goes over the top of Hancock's head and Hutchison gets it and scores. Try to Halifax. Well, the bounce really didn't suit Michael Hancock. He looked as if he had it covered and then whoops up over the top of the head. The Halifax fans go delirious with the thrill of them seeing their side score a try on the Just Jeans replay. Michael Hancock caught in no man's land, and Hutchinson, Rob Hutchinson, flying through, takes the ball to score the try. Southernwood the grubber kick. Here it is. Hancock looks as if he's got it, and up it goes over the top, almost like a perfect lob in tennis. Not much he could do about it, and Hutchinson obviously very excited about scoring that try. Perfectly weighted grubber kick into the corner, and the big tall winger did well to score the try. And he's pretty happy with it too. Why wouldn't he be? So Smith to attempt the conversion from almost on touch, just outside the quarter line. So it's Halifax who put the first points on the board in the second half, much against the run of play. Smith, the chance to convert the Hutchison try. It's high in the air, but way across the face of the goal. And so Australia still hold a commanding lead over Halifax. They lead by 32 points to 10.
The hook is very deep now. He's waiting, lining himself up, and he's caught it. The hook has caught a fish. Oh, no one else can catch a fillet of fish like that.
Alexander gets the game underway again, kicks it deep inside Halifax's territory, and Hasler coming through very quickly, and Smith was taking forever to fall on that ball. In the end, he's hurt himself as he really had to dive in desperation to secure possession, because Hasler really was coming through very quickly as the Halifax players were just standing around being very relaxed, waiting for someone to fall on it. I think he just copped an accidental boot in the head. Here's Smith having to fall on the ball, and you see Hasler came through very quickly. I'm not quite sure what happened in the end. He does seem to be holding his head. Is there another replacement on the field out there, Tony Durkin?
There certainly is. In jersey number 16, Ben Beavers on for Dick Fairbank.
So Ben Beavers.
It's interesting as he gets his first touch, David, that both Graham Eadie and Chris Anderson, who made such great names for themselves here with the Halifax club, they only just flew back here to play in a testimonial match for Beavers only about a week or so ago. So I know that they'll be looking on tonight, the Eadies and the Andersons, and special welcome tonight to them back home too.
And what a great time they had here too. I'm certain that everyone will remember Halifax in 1987 when, of course, they won the Challenge Cup final, and Graham Eadie, that sign was saying hello to the Eadie kids. Graham Eadie, of course, won the Lance Todd Trophy that night when Halifax won the Challenge Cup. Couldn't achieve much else in his career, could he? There's Hasler. Hasler back towards the halfway. Finds Geyer in support. Just inside Halifax's territory. Well, we had 6 Broncos and 4 Penrith players start this game today, and then you had Des Hasler, who started his career at Penrith. There's a lot of combinations out there. 10 metres inside Halifax's territory. Langer looks for a runner, and it's Sargent who comes down the centre. Pops it back up for Kerrod Wallace. Kerrod Wallace almost in a hole. The ball was meant for Langer. It's gone loose. And it's Milner who comes up in possession for Halifax. Wood. He finds support in Keebles, and he'll play at 11 metres inside Halifax's territory.
Halifax, to their credit, have created a number of opportunities in this match. And they're getting to play with a lot more possession as the Australians start to lose control a little of the ball in the second half. Back for the kick. Trying to get in behind Shearer. He's had a good contest with Wilf George. He takes him once again. The crowd this side of the ground enjoying their tussle. Fittler spreading the ball. Hasler, another long ball. Hancock goes infield. Steps right into the clear. Hancock's got Langer. Langer steps back. Dummied to Kevin Walters. Austin will get there with the pace, but he gets a great ball out to Hasler. Hasler straightens. That was nearly a sensational try. They've got them busted all over the field if they can get it wide. Kevin Walters, head down, tried to go from dummy half. Plenty of Australians line deep to the right, and it's on the last tackle. Fittler cuts out a man to Johns. Johns will score surely. Johns picks up his second. It had to come. Probably should have come on the tackle before. But they still got there. They kept their cool, and there was some good passing out wide. Johns hobbling a little after scoring the try. Just Jean's replay showed that Langer was keen to get it out there. Fittler more so with that long torpedo pass. Johns saw that George had come up his wing, had him on the wrong foot, and he also had Smith on the wrong foot, just stepping inside then out. The second pass from Fittler probably helping to create it more so. That long pass from Fittler. And George was left in no man's land. Shearer was still unused on the outside, but Johns didn't need him. And Chris Johns, 2 tries tonight here at Halifax. The scene from Alexander from right out wide. And this good crowd with this great little ground. 4 from 6 for Alexander. He's hooked this one around left. The Australians leading by 26 now, 36.
You by Just Jeans and LJ Hooker.
Halifax come back to halfway, and they make another change, Tony.
Jason Ramshaw, Graham is on in jersey number 14. He's replaced the hooker, Seamus McCallion.
McCallion, a man who, from memory, I think he picked up a try in the 87 Challenge Cup that Halifax won. Cartwright. Shearer. For once in this second half, he doesn't get tackled by Wilf George. Long time to play it. Gillespie. Gillespie's brought down. Those scrums have really got away 7-2 to Halifax. And the penalties, that 2-1 margin their way. This ruling against the Australians to give Halifax a good chance. They'll have the feed. Hasler already broken from the scrum before it came out. Smith! Just what can they lay on here? Ball stolen. Quite rightly, the penalty for Halifax. They'll just stay on a roll here.
And now it's another mothers' meeting to determine what they're going to do with the football. Now they've got the penalty. Since Scott went off, it seems there's a lot of indecision out there amongst the Halifax players as what they do when they have penalties. But they're going to run with the football. And it's Ramshaw who gets it away now to Mitchell. And Mitchell, how much he'd dearly love to score a try, an Australian playing it for Halifax. Ramshaw on his own, and he's almost there. He's only a metre or 2 away. There's now taken ahead as Beavers, and Beavers is only 4 or 5 metres out. Ramshaw looks for support, and again Halifax have got the ball through Hill, only a metre or 2 out. Open side. This time they move the ball. Austin in the centre of the field, flicks it out the back. And again, it's good support, good play from the Australians as Keeble is now forced all the way back to the quarter line. So they were at one stage 4 metres out. Now they're outside the quarter line as Southernwood puts up the bomb. Alexander underneath it, takes it safely in the field of play. And Australia will now have to run the ball out from their own line.
And they were all a mile offside.
Yes, there seems to be one rule for one and another for the others. Hancock. A few metres out from his own line. Yes, they're meant to be back 10 metres these days, not just 5. Interesting how some fullbacks say it hampers their game now and doesn't make it easier to make ground. Kevin Walters now being penalised for not playing the ball. Hill decides to take charge. And again, Halifax will get an opportunity to go on the attack. As Hill just plays the ball and then goes straight and hard, and he's backslammed into the ground there by Geyer and Walters. He gets up and has a few words to say. I don't think Geyer would really be worried about what he's got to say. Milner gets to within 9 metres of the Australian line. Ramshaw out wide, it comes away towards Wood, and he's almost in. But again, good defence on the blind side. Here's Hill again, and he'll almost get pushed across the touchline. Ramshaw wasn't watching the ball for a moment, almost lost it. As Halifax now decide to spin it wide. Austin gets it away. Milner, back it comes to Smith. Smith gets his pass away, and it's going to be another try. George has scored for Halifax. So Halifax are in, and the crowd love that. Wilf George scores the try. So both the wingers and one of the centres, and this, it's where they'd won the cup final the way he's going on. The Just Jeans replay. Good football. The long pass comes out. Another one which came away here to Austin. Austin got that pass away that looked forward. Smith, I should say, that's Milner. This is Smith. And then Smith wasn't the best of passes, but it found its target. And Wilf George scores the try. Halifax's third. The two long passes, the first one was Wood, then Southernwood out wide. Austin, that looked to be a forward pass to Milner. Smith drew Shearer on the inside and got the pass away, which ultimately saw George pick up the try. So Smith, who threw the last pass for the try, attempts the conversion from just outside the quarter line. But away to the left of the uprights. And so the score here at Thrum Hall, Australia 36 leading Halifax 14. The crowd starting to even sing. Well, at least they've had plenty of points scored, 50 points scored in the match so far. So they won't go unhappy saying they haven't seen a game of football. And Alexander to restart play for the Australians. The kick-off. Now, who's going to get the ball this time? You may remember the last time they kicked off, there was so much indecision. Australia almost got it back. Great defence from Sargent and Gillespie as Keebles gets up and plays it. Halifax bring it out to their own quarter line. Beaver's played it. This is Ramshaw. 30 metres out. Smith kicks. Alexander in perfect position. Alexander, now which side will he come? He'll come to Shearer's side. Ramshaw's there to effect the tackle. 11 metres inside Australia's territory.
Crowd incensed about something. Touch judges come on from the far side of the field. It surprises me that a touch judge hadn't come from this near sideline. Now, Brian Giltress trying to lay down the law here. It'll go back to the previous play the ball. He listens to the touch judge's report. And a long one. Alexander lashing out now. He was very strict with Sargent. Will Alexander spend time in the bin? Now, hang on, who's he sent?
I think he's sent Geyer, has he?
Now, Alf Langer, whether or not he's taken this out on the captain or not, I don't know. How he can do that stuns me. Langer shakes his head. Some support from the trainer, Brian Hollis. Steve Roach, Eddinghausen, and Bella somehow can see the funny side of it on the sideline. And Langer's left to try and sort it all out. So he won't be back before the end of the match, Langer. There's only about 10 to go. As Beavers puts his head down, Halifax looking for another try. Ramshaw. Just 2 metres away, Halifax. Plenty of ball for them in the second half. Keeble's ducking. Couple of the Australians going high. The ball comes clear, and the Kangaroos in possession. Referee takes a tumble, gets a massive roar from the Australian contingent. Those supporters that have travelled across loved every minute of that. And there are plenty of them here at Drum Hall. Gillespie. Well, that's an interesting call, Mal, isn't it, for little Alan Langer?
Well, it definitely wasn't Alan, unfortunately, but I can certainly see the funny side of it. The referee's starting to lose a little bit of control here, I think, and obviously the Halifax guys are taking advantage of the referee decisions.
Well, they've created a number of opportunities, haven't they, Mal? Now, hang on, we'll come back. Referee gets right amongst this. And as Mal was just saying, that this was going to explode again inside the last 10 minutes. Not worth anything now. It's not worth anything to anybody, is it?
Not really. Our guys just got to settle down and make sure no one gets sent off. That's the major factor. There's a number of guys here in test contention, so, you know, just got to play with their heads.
Yeah, well, Mal, I was going to say that Halifax have probably proven to everybody that they're headed back to the first division on this display.
Yeah, they played quite well. The tries they've scored tonight have come from good ball movement. You know, they've had a fair share of possession, admittedly, in the second half, but they've used it fairly well.
Now, there was the referee jumping in amongst it all. Everybody was threatening, but thankfully nobody really did anything. And we talk about players not laying their hands on referees back home in Sydney. Well, he had hold of 2 and 3 players. Alexander gets at fullback as they come away again, Halifax. 8 and 9 metres away. Make that 4 and 5 as Beavers sets it up right in front of the goal mouth. Ramshaw from dummy half, looks for a runner, went behind Keebles, touched by Hutchinson, trapped with his feet, he'll score. I don't know how it opened up so easily, but this Drum Hall crowd is on their feet again as they score once more. Hutchinson gets a double that has them so excited. The ball came loose. On the Just Jeans replay, Ramshaw was looking out wide for a runner. Hutchinson just trapped it. It bounced straight up for him. All the cover had gone across. It left a hole up the middle that couldn't be plugged. Talk about broken play, loose play situation. All the Australians had overrun the situation. Sargent and Alexander tried to get across. It was too late. And Halifax really putting a dent in the scoreline. Maybe giving Malcolm Reilly and the Great Britain team more confidence about posting points. He gets his second. Big man for a winger and enjoying every moment of his match against the 1990 Kangaroos. Steve Smith might have made it look even better. He's only had 1 from 4. I think it was also Scott who was successful from 1 from 2 or 3, so they've missed some kicks. And Platt, I should say. Again, it's unsuccessful. But they've got 18 points against the...
Bell on for Australia, on for John Cartwright. Of course, Martin Bella played here at Halifax. I'd say that's probably the reason Bob Fulton's given him a run tonight.
So Halifax with the ball, and here's the try scorer Hutchinson. He scored 2, looking for a hat-trick. Martin Bella returns to Thrum Hall, but tonight in Australian colours, and gets heavily involved with Mitchell in the tackle inside Halifax's territory. Elia in that hole, almost got away. He had Milner in support. The kick down towards the dead ball line, and in the end it runs into the fence, and Australia will restart play from the centre of the quarter line with the tap kick. So can the Australians put on 2 tries in the last 5 minutes of this half as they did in the first half? This will be a penalty. In fact, he's given him 10 in the sin bin. Ben Beavers for a high tackle. Ben Beavers has got 10 in the bin. And that's what it was for. So the referee sent another one off. And he won't be back. Alexander to kick for touch. And now Halifax have to play the remainder of the match with just 12 men. Sargent. Good run from Sargent. Couldn't quite get the pass. In fact, he's lost the ball. He tried to get his arms free to throw the pass, and it's Southernwood who's taken by Gillespie just inside Halifax's territory. Crowd loved that. Milner, Elia, Ramshaw runs straight into who's now his opposite, Kerrod Walters. Southernwood spots an opening, gets through Bella, can't get through Sargent as he gets to within 35 metres of the Australian line. Ramshaw, Hill. He's got the pass away, but it's gone loose, and Shearer comes up with possession for Australia. And don't forget that second test between Australia and Great Britain live on Sunday morning, Saturday night at 1 o'clock Eastern Daylight Saving Time. And what a great match it's going to be. A sellout crowd at Old Trafford. It'll be a tremendous match, and Bella can't handle it as he was taken, crashed into the ground by Hill afterwards, more on suspicion than anything else. Halifax with it just inside their own half. Mitchell taken by Bella. Ramshaw. The Australian team all geared up, very much so. Fired up team it is for this second test match. George comes at Shearer, and Shearer equal to the task. Austin, Elia, that was a forward pass from Austin back to Elia. And Elia will play it just inside Australia's territory. Milner runs into Walters and Bella. Last tackle against Halifax. Ramshaw. Ramshaw puts up the kick. Very deep, and it goes dead, and play again will restart from the centre of the Australian quarter line.
I really can't remember, Dave, how long it's been since Australia have had any flow at all in possession, but it's got to be said that it is still a very unconvincing second half from them, with the second test in mind, and the fact that their ball control has been so bad in this last 40.
Well, the thing that's most surprising is that Halifax have outplayed them in the second half. Admittedly, it hasn't been easy with some of the refereeing decisions. Now, the referee is talking to Kerrod Walters. I think Kerrod was claiming it was a high tackle, but it always seemed to hit him on the chest, and it's got nothing to do with the head anyway. Michael Hancock is telling Brian Hollis that he's got something wrong with the knee, I think. Of course, Australia have had an incredible run of injuries in just the last few weeks. The first 2 weeks of the tour, it was fantastic. But then, of course, disaster struck just in that week before the test match. McGaw was in doubt, but got through it with a blinder. Daly missed the test match. Hancock comes back on the inside. There it is, as you can see, the right knee really did take all that pressure.
Initially, he did cop the left hand just under the chin.
But the major impact, I suppose, is across the chest. But it's that right knee, as you saw. Carroll's since, of course, he'll be back next week after he did his knee in the week before the first test. Now we've had McGaw's injury. Lazarus with 17 stitches in a cut. Good hands then from Geyer away to Gillespie, who gets it up to the halfway. Walters goes without it, and there's Hancock. He's in all sorts of trouble. Brian Hollis trying to help him from the field. Gillespie. I dare say Andrew Eddinghausen will come on for whatever is left in the match. As Kevin Walters, I should say, goes from dummy half. Kerrod moves into dummy half now on the last tackle against Australia. Alexander thought about the kick, now puts it up. It's coming down just outside the quarter line. And Wood took that pretty well as Andrew Eddinghausen gets ready now to replace Michael Hancock. George runs across field. And of course, if Michael Hancock's out, Graham, it means that one of the options that Bob Fulton probably had up his sleeve would have been thrown out the window. Halifax try the little chip over the top, and Guy's done well to pluck that out of the air. 12 metres out from the Halifax line. Walters, Bella, Sargent, he's done well to get that after almost losing it initially. And now he has lost it. Well, the ball was... Hill's come up with it.
The ball was stolen while Sargent was on the ground. Simple.
No. Well, look, we haven't heard a siren. And now Hill throws the football at Bella after the game is finished. And Hill is standing in the middle of the field wanting to go on with it. There's kids coming everywhere onto the field. Hasler and Hill congratulate other. Bella's also being congratulated. Well, that was probably the greatest anticlimax I've ever seen at a football game. I didn't hear a siren. I didn't hear the referee blow the whistle. The kids started to stream onto the ground, and that was the end of that. As Bella now walks from the field, he'd be pretty happy that he actually got a run here at Thrum Hall, which is where he played so much of his football when he was here in England. So Australia have won this game, but they set up all of that good work in the first half. For Australia, Guy Sargent, Johns 2 tries, Alexander, Kevin Walters and Hancock. Alexander 4 goals, while for Halifax, Austin, Hutchison scored 2 tries and George, and Smith kicked a goal. Australia 36, defeating Halifax 18. We'll be back with the Just Jeans man of the match. And
Welcome back. A big performance by the Australians in the first half. That set it up for them, but a disappointing one in the last 40. Our man of the match, our Just Jeans man of the match tonight, Greg Alexander, a great performance early, but a struggle late.
Yeah, you know, we didn't have much ball, and our position in the field wasn't real good to attack. We had a strong breeze against us in the second half, and, you know, that sort of led to it.
Well, 4 years ago, you had a big night out here too. You seem to come back here and score plenty of points.
Yeah, it's good to be back here, and, you know, we... Halifax put up a good game in the second half, and, you know, as they did last time, I think, and, you know, it's just good to get a winner.
All the roles in the fullback so far. Looking forward to maybe a run at half?
Yeah, it'd be nice. You know, I think really I'm a halfback, and but just you know, the way the tours and the players on the tour have happened, it's I've sort of fitted in the fullback role. But you know, I'm not complaining, and I'm enjoying it.
All right, well, you'll enjoy this too, I know. $250 worth of gear coming your way from Just Jeans when you get back home. Well played.
Thanks, Just Jeans. Thanks, Channel 10.
So a difficult game for the Australians, especially after racking up a near cricket score in the first half. But one of the real heroes of the match, Mark Geyer, yet another try. 3 in 3 matches. It's pretty easy, this stuff.
Oh, it's pretty hard thirsty, you know. It's good to score a try every game, you know, but, you know, good full credit to Halifax tonight. They come back well in the second half, and they give us a hard game, you know, and just goes to show what we can expect in the next few games ahead of us.
What was it like out there? I mean, at half-time, you must have been thinking that 60 points were possible. Is it easy to motivate yourself?
Really, at no stage did we think it was going to be a cricket score, you know. The tries we scored in the first half were pretty opportunist tries, you know. It was just we were there at the right time. The defence of Halifax was pretty strong all the way through, and full credit to them.
Well, Peter, what did you think of that? The second half, Halifax outplayed Australia.
Well, it's very good for an Aussie to admit that, but yeah, I feel we did. We were a bit worried at half-time because we feared a cricket score. And I said to the players, we've got to be positive, we've got to get back in the game, because you players are such a good side that the score doesn't do you any justice at the moment. And if we don't watch it, they'll run 60 up, and then we'll fall flat.
So what's that do for Halifax Rugby League? I mean, the second half, the crowd really did get behind you.
They did indeed. The crowd were magnificent, and the more the crowd get behind the players, as I've been trying to tell the local press, the more the players will respond. It's great for Halifax, it's great for the second division, and it's great for the British coaching scheme under Phil Larder, because since 1982 he has boosted our coaching 100%, and we've had him here for a session with us the other week, and our game's on the way up, thankfully.
Well, Al, I guess captain for the first time of Australia, you get an early shower.
Yeah, I did get an early shower, but you know, it's just a bit disappointing at that, but you know, I'm just happy with the win the first time.